Hi guys, welcome to another episode of me talking to my phone. Hope you're good. So we're going to run through some of the news on ND, some drinks news, and a few stories at the end. But let's start with what's been in the news. So we're going to talk about the Olympics. We're going to talk about neurodivergence and chronic fatigue. We're going to talk about an attack on a 13-year-old boy in Wolverhampton. We're going to touch on Tilda Swinton, Sam Thompson, and we're going to talk about Seedlip, Season, and our new project, Silver. And then I thought I'd share my diagnosis story. We're going to hear another of our listeners' diagnosis stories. And then I thought I'd end with reading out something from the amazing Rich and Rox, their ADHD_love on social, their Big Talk manifesto. Let's get into it. So it's been amazing to watch the Olympics, and I guess amazing just to call out some of the competitors that we know are publicly neurodivergent and just how incredible they are. James Guy, you might have seen the swimming last night, won gold for Great Britain. Adam Peaty won a silver for Great Britain. Both those guys have been very public about their struggles, the challenges with being neurodivergent. And then the unstoppable, incredible Simone Biles, who's ADHD. If any of you've seen her documentary on Netflix, and then to see where she's got to, winning golds in the all-rounder yesterday. Incredible. Incredible story, incredible journey, and just, I guess, an amazing representation of what's possible. Congrats to all those guys. And then do check out Adele Tracy. She'll be running in the 800 meters for Jamaica. She was episode number 3, I think, at the Hidden 20%. She's an absolute rare sunshine, and wish her really well when the athletics kicks off. On to neurodivergence and chronic fatigue. So news in the neurosciencenews.com, one to follow. There's been this groundbreaking study that's found that children who exhibit neurodivergent traits, such as those associated with autism and ADHD, are twice as likely to experience chronic disabling fatigue by the age of 18. So chronic fatigue, not an area that I know that much about or have any personal experience of. But there's been this brilliant piece of research done, led by Dr. Lisa Quad, I think you say her surname, and Dr. Jessica Eccles, that basically just brings to light this link between neurodivergence and chronic fatigue. Study found that increased inflammation in childhood, often resulting from heightened stress levels, may be a contributing factor. And children with neurodivergent traits, diagnosed or not, often experience heightened stress, which is likely one reason for their increased inflammatory levels. Our study indicates that this may be a risk factor for developing chronic disabling fatigue, which dramatically decreases quality of life. So one to check out. And this story kind of made my blood boil, to be honest. Reported by the BBC. It's dreadful. 13-year-old boy, Toby, from Wolverhampton. He's autistic, non-speaking. And basically, he was really badly attacked by a teacher, teaching assistant called William Kevin Clifford, who's pleaded guilty to child cruelty at Wolverhampton Crown Court. And just absolutely dreadful. Had his head held down, 20-minute assault. Luckily, there was a security camera nearby that picked it up. It's just absolutely, unbelievable. And Toby has a kind of mental age of 2. He's a 13-year-old non-speaking boy who's autistic. Just absolutely just not okay that that kind of stuff is still happening. So if you're in Wolverhampton, in that area, yeah, do have a look, check it out. And yeah, this just cannot happen going forwards. In other news, Tilda Swinton has just been announced that she's going to narrate this interactive ADHD documentary called Impulse. It's a mixed reality documentary from directors May Abdallah and Barry Jean Murphy, and it's going to premiere at the Venice Immersive Programme that's part of the 2024 Venice Film Festival. It follows, let me just see if I can find it. It follows 4 individuals grappling with ADHD, gives them a unique perspective, or gives us a unique perspective, following Leanne, who turns her world into a game to escape boredom, Omar, who focuses his chaotic mind by planning risky heists, Tara, who's on the brink of giving up entirely. That's 3 of them. They said there's 4. They're not mentioning the 4th one. Okay. Anyway, that is called Impulse, an interactive ADHD documentary. Pretty cool. Check it out. Venice Film Festival. It's coming this year. And then just quickly, Sam Thompson from the Jungle did the amazing ADHD documentary, I think last year. He's just been appointed or taken on an ambassador role for ADHD UK, which is great. I think since his diagnosis and since that documentary's come out, he's been very vocal, very open. And yeah, great to see that in the press, in the media. Well done, Sam. Good luck being an ambassador. Okay, so that's the neurodivergent news for the moment. In drinks news, I thought, because most of you will not know who I am or what I do when I'm not doing the hidden 20%. So I founded this brand, this company called Seedlip back in 2015, making distilled non-alcoholic spirits, actually on this little, if you're watching, this little 2-litre copper still right behind me, and took that business to loads of amazing places and loads of fantastic countries, learned a hell of a lot. It was an incredibly wild ride. But I wanted to give people, and still want to give people, a great option if they're not drinking alcohol. I don't care why you're not drinking alcohol. I just care that people get a great grown-up option that is not a blend of fruit juices and syrup or an orange juice or plain sparkling water. So Seedlip has been a huge part of my life for the last 11 years actually. And I must be a sucker for punishment, because I'm right back at the beginning launching some more new projects to make amazing non-alcoholic drinks the norm, and those options just sort of commonplace for people, that if you're going out, if you're going to a party, if you're having people over for dinner, whatever the occasion, that there are great options, full stop, whether they've got alcohol in or not. So our first little project that we launched was Season. See these little colourful packages behind me, if you can see behind me. Season is basically the salt and pepper for your drinks. So we season our food. We should season our drinks because we know it makes them taste absolutely delicious and more Moorish, and can be, just a brilliant addition to your drinks. So Season has 2 different products, a light one that's super green and zesty and bright and really great for your tonic water or your martini. And then we have Season Dark, which is aromatic and spicy and a bit smoky. And that's really good in like ginger ale or with Coke, or just in soda, or in cocktails like an old fashioned. Put them in alcohol, put them in non-alcohol. I don't really mind. I actually love them in my food, but they're these concentrated liquids that deliver such massive punch of flavor with just 3 dashes. We've got some amazing listings in some really amazing restaurants and bars. You can buy it from our website. God, I'm basically doing an advert here. Apologies for that. But yeah, it's really exciting. We're just the beginning. We've just launched in the US as well. And the exciting news that I wanted to tell you was, you might notice on bottles or products or packages that you buy, there's this like little black circle with a great taste award, and it gives a kind of gold star. And Season yesterday just won 2 of those great taste awards. And this is judged by 500 amazing palates and amazing judges. Super chuffed, really excited. These are about taste and amazing flavor and bringing it to life in unique ways. And so, yeah, really chuffed with that. And then our third project is silver. So I told you last time we built this laboratory behind me, and we are making super yummy, complex, dark, non-alcoholic spirits. We're using grain, we're using wood, we're using distillation, maturation, and that is going on pre-order in September. It's small batch. It's really difficult to make. No one's made it the way we're making it. But really, really exciting. And yeah, that's called Silver. So do check it out. You can sign up to kind of hear more of the news, and yeah, look forward to letting you know when our first batch is released. Okay, that's the news. Let's get into some stories. So yeah, why did I go for an assessment and how was I diagnosed? Really, actually, quite an uninteresting story, which is probably not the best way to kind of engage your ears or your eyes. But 2022, in the springtime, I had a conversation with a guy called Ian. He's in the drinks industry, lives in Copenhagen, and we've always kind of got on really well. Love his brain, love the way he thinks. And he'd just been assessed for autism and ADHD, and was quite kind of vocal about his diagnosis in the industry. And that was, I literally had not come across ADHD, autism, neurodivergence, neurodiversity. I didn't know what any of these things meant. I had really limited views, really limited beliefs, and incredibly limited understanding of what these things were. But that just kind of sowed a seed. And then I was listening to a podcast over the summer in 2022, and I was listening to the founder of Brewdog, James Watt, and he hadn't been diagnosed, but he was exploring whether he should pursue a diagnosis in autism. And I just related to a lot of what he said and a lot of how his brain seemed to work. And so I started Googling. That was it. I started Googling. I did a couple of the NHS sort of online tests, screeners, I guess they are. And then unbeknownst to my family, my wife, my children, my colleagues, I pursued a diagnosis. And we have the episode with Dr. Renato Fiallo, who's the psychologist that diagnosed me, who's an absolute brilliant person. And I did that 12-week assessment period for autism, which was kind of cathartic, kind of unknown, kind of scary, also started to make sense. And Renata said to me, "Congratulations, Ben, you're autistic," at the end of that process. And this was also with our third daughter, newborn, who'd just been born. So kind of quite a chaotic time to find this kind of information out. But that was, the end of 2022. And it was literally like someone handed me the keys. They didn't necessarily show me where the door was, but I felt like I'd been given this opportunity to take responsibility, be accountable, and it felt like I had choices and I had options and I had an opportunity to learn more and find more understanding. I do believe, In my case, the key was getting that diagnosis. It doesn't matter really what the words are called or what the labels are. It was more that I had just this opportunity to go and find out more and to learn more and to try and understand and make sense of my past, my brain, my relationships, the challenges, the advantages, and the future. And to finally then start to let the mask down, be much kinder to myself, have the greatest understanding so far that I have of myself, and I'm 41. So yeah, it's never too late. Going to read out now a listener's story about their diagnosis journey. And this was sent in to us by a lady called Ketty Shiel. She was diagnosed with ADHD and autism in December 2022, same year. Here we go. Before my diagnosis, I was hollow inside. I felt destined for a life as an outcast, an unlovable oddity on this earth. As a child, I was told by my mother I was schizophrenic and that if I misbehaved, men from the psych ward would come and lock me up. I lived in fear of the men knocking at the door, coming for me with a straitjacket and electric shock. I dealt with the shame by running through a gamut of eating disorders, engaging in substance abuse and other impulsive behaviors, dating abusive men who were emotionally unavailable and preyed on my insecurities. I had trouble maintaining friendships because I was paranoid that people only talked to me to use me in some way. I thought everyone wanted to take advantage of me. I attempted suicide in various ways, some active and some passive. As a girl, I went to bed each night and prayed to never wake up. It was always a crushing blow when I realized I'd woken up to another day. I ran away from home, but always came back. Before my diagnosis, I had no idea that my experiences, synesthesia, sensitivity to noise, to light, to certain textures, difficulty following through on boring tasks, my skin buzzing with electricity, inability to focus in conversation, could be considered traits of neurodiversity. I just thought I was lazy and dysfunctional, aloof and intense, too sensitive, too much. I was masking my little heart out and convincing everyone I was more fine than I was. I was first diagnosed with anxiety and PTSD and OCD. I was told by various therapists I was traumatized but gifted, too attractive to be autistic, too smart to be disabled, too messed up to be normal, too high functioning to warrant medication. I dragged myself through each day, but couldn't understand how life could ever be bearable, let alone joyful. I felt guilty every day that I was a bad parent, a worse spouse, a terrible person. Since my diagnosis, I've experienced joy, maybe for the first time. I've chopped off my hair, stopped wearing makeup, dressed only for comfort. I wrote 2 novels and had several short stories published. My debut novel features a neurodivergent woman. I resisted the diagnosis at first because I have an aversion to labels and because I didn't understand ADHD or autism and because I felt a sense of shame that this is me. But then everything clicked. It explained my lived experience. It explained why my family brutalized me, why I feel like the smartest brain in every room, but I'm unbearably lonely. I went through a phase where I felt stupid for not knowing. In hindsight, it seems so obvious. I had an obsession with Temple Grandin and now live in the same town as her. I memorized portions of the dictionary for fun. I taught myself to read multiple foreign languages. By 10, I was reading Proust. For fuck's sake. My diagnosis only came after my beautiful daughter was born and made her brain quirks known. Through watching her develop atypically from her peers, I was continually reminded of myself as a girl. The intensely immersive, imaginative play floored me with its familiarity, as did her wonder at the natural world, her ability to lose herself in marveling at a leaf. I self-diagnosed first, then a therapist who specializes in trauma and neurodiversity confirmed my intuition. I feared my daughter would grow up without a role model to show her the remarkable path of an autistic woman, smart, funny, hot, sad, a whole person deserving love. So I undertook the task of becoming that role model and embodying the energy of a smart, funny, hot, sad, whole person autist. I was faking it for her benefit, but then somewhere along the way, I was no longer faking it. I was just living it. As much as I resisted the labels of ADHD and autism, a diagnosis was a homecoming. My whole life, I've been homesick for a home that I thought didn't exist. but it did exist. I'd just been alienated from it by a world that required me to mask in order to survive. Wow. Wow, thank you. And thank you. We get loads written in. Please do share. Yeah, it's really important and really helpful. And I know somebody listening will feel not alone. Going to finish, as I promised, with Rich and Rock's new book, if you can see that, Small Talk, 10 ADHD lies and how to stop believing them. And I start books from the back. So I started this book from the back, and the back is great. Here's what they said. It's called Big Talk Manifesto. I will never call myself horrible names out loud or in my head. If I ever do because I'm frustrated or angry, I will apologize to myself. I will never let anybody else call me horrible names. I will limit contact with people who make me feel less than. I will be vulnerable and tell loved ones what is really going on for me. I will think deeply before saying yes, making sure I'm not people-pleasing or overextending, but truly because it's something I want to do. I will allow my emotions the space they need. The tears and the pain are welcome here. I will not make promises to people to try harder. I will instead explain that some things are harder for me and negotiate a relationship or system that works. I will never shame myself for being multi-passionate. I will allow myself to have fun with different hobbies and interests. I will walk bravely in the direction of my dreams, knowing that with great bravery comes great success. I will stop trying to follow the neurotypical path to success, and instead I will follow my heart and my intuition, knowing there's always something valuable to learn. I will ask for reassurance from safe people if I'm feeling anxious about our relationship. I'll be patient with myself and allow myself time to learn and grow. I will have faith in my future, knowing that with the right support, I have incredible gifts to offer this world. I will take the washing out the dryer. Sorry, couldn't resist. What a great little manifesto reminder. Basically for us to take it easy on ourselves and be a bit kinder to ourselves. Thanks. See you next week.